row. And both these teams heading in opposite directions. The Warriors now take sole possession of 10th place in the Western Conference as we welcome everybody to Toyota Warriors postgame live with NBA champion Festus Ezeli, the great KB. She has an Emmy on her bookshelf. The great Karen Burke. I am Vontae Hill. Warriors playing so hard that first half. They go on a 19-2 run. They go in a half up 7. Probably should have been up more. And then third quarter, Denver Nuggets just turned it on. Outscored the Dubs 40-21. And the Joker did his thing and made his presence felt with 10, 5, and 4 in that frame.
You can tell the Warriors came into this game with the right attitude, the right fight, building as much as a 13-point lead. But this was a tale of two halves. And in that second half, in that third quarter, it was Nikola Jokic here. But even Draymond, I think you found the spirit in this one. He got to say boom kind of early. The Warriors were locked in, but this is just where you can see the differences between how these teams are built right now. The Nuggets are more well-rounded than the Warriors currently.
The Warriors came in with a lot of fight in the first half. I thought defense was sharp. The Warriors were getting steals and turnovers. They were running on fast breaks. Nikola Jokic was still a hard person to guard. He had 15 and 8 in the first half. But still, you had Draymond with 10 points. Kristaps Porzingis was wonderful all night long. His ability to score from the three-point line, getting Nikola out of the paint. I thought the Warriors were more aggressive in the first half. Gary Payton was special tonight. But the second half, just that third quarter alone, the way they started that third quarter, the Denver Nuggets, they came in, I think they almost scored, after scoring 46 points in the first half, or maybe 43, 46 in the first half, they scored almost 20 points in the first 6 minutes. Like, you could tell that there was something that happened in the locker room for the Denver Nuggets. You got
pretty fiery.
Yeah, the coach definitely said something to them that got them fired up. They were playing with a different pace, different intention. They were getting stops. They were running. And Nikola Jokic is the guy. He is the guy. He was hitting shots. He was getting guys layups. They were outrunning the Warriors to the rim, from rim to rim. It just felt like the hustle was different in the second half. Maybe they ran out of gas. Maybe it's the altitude. But this is a game where you have parts of it. That first half, if you could have bottled that energy and taken it to that second half, I think the Warriors could have really had something.
The hustle categories flipped in the second half. But the Warriors, they led in points in the paint, second chance points, fast break. Well, Denver, they outscored the Warriors when it comes to second chance points, 11-2 in the second half. Points in the paint, the Nuggets were a -8 at halftime. Well, that stat category ends up being even, KB, at 36 apiece. So they just impose their will on the Warriors. And when you're shorthanded, you can't make mistakes. KP was rolling, but you think about the shooting, KP was 5 for 5 at one point from the three-point line. The rest of the team was 5 for 28.
KP was fun to watch tonight because you can see how easily he can get these points. And it looked like Draymond was relieved to have KP out there as well. He didn't have to guard Nikola Jokic the entire time this game. Draymond could score a little bit. KP could match up against that guy because KP knows Nikola Jokic. The 7-footers match up against the 7-footers. There's a familiarity there. Looked like he was even having a little bit of fun with that too. So there wasn't really a mismatch. It was like, you're on my level. I'm going to go toe-to-toe with you. And that freed up Draymond to be the free safety a little bit. But yeah, when nobody else really had that hot three-point shot tonight, and you're facing the team that's #1 in scoring and #1 in three-point shooting, it can be easy to have that snowball grow very quickly.
Having a 7-footer on your side is definitely an advantage for the Warriors because in rebounds and steals, Kristaps Porzingis was really special. Like, he moves really well. It's as healthy as I've seen him in a while. Continues to get more and more confident. We talked about this Warriors team coming in on a 3-game winning streak. You've seen Kristaps go against the Washington Wizards, against the Brooklyn Nets. Now you're going against the Denver Nuggets. This is a team that, you have the MVP on the other end, but he was really putting on from the three-point line. He was getting cuts. He was getting assists to guys. I thought he played a very well all-around game tonight, and he stayed on the offensive the whole night.
No, you can see the vision with Kristaps Porzingis. He fits in this system there. Yeah. We all know what it'll look like with Steph Curry. But let's pick it up in the second quarter where the Warriors came out hustling and bustling on national television. A 19-2 second quarter run beginning right here as Kristaps Porzingis says, you know what? Let me have some fun to show Dub Nation what I can do here on the floor. He was rolling, KB. In the paint, outside the paint, you see Draymond with a tough finish right there. The Warriors were on fire right here, shooting an 11-point lead.
Yeah, Porzingis involved with a lot of this. And you know who else was a little bit unsung in that first half? Pat Spencer with the assists that he dished out, it was KP, it was Pat, and it was Porzingis right here leading the way. Porzingis just adds such a different element to the floor, getting in the mix and having the ball in his hands. Because Coach Kerr made that point, like in Boston, when they needed a playmaker, they always went to Jaylen Brown. They always went to Jason Tatum. So here, he's in a different role, and he's filling a role that the Warriors have needed so badly.
19-2 run. That 2 is really key. I thought the Warriors did a great job turning over the Denver Nuggets, and they started running. The Denver Nuggets flipped this whole thing in the third quarter, Bonte.
No doubt. You see that shooting 61% from the floor, 8 of 14 from the three-point line, and everybody got in on the mix. Meanwhile, the Warriors,
he's special.
The Warriors just go 2 of 10 from the three-point line in that third quarter, and they could not find their shot.
See, a two-man game. I told you before the game, when in doubt, you go to that two-man game. And one thing that you have to talk about is the bench. The role players for the Denver Nuggets in that third quarter. I thought Bruce Bowen was good in the first half.
Right.
Bruce Brown was good in the first half. I thought Tim Hardaway Jr. was hitting big shot after big shot. Peyton Watson, not known as a shooter, hit some big threes tonight. I thought their role players were more aggressive in the second half. The Warriors' role players were more aggressive. I thought Draymond in the first half, he had 10 points. That's really important for the Warriors, for him to hit those shots. In the first half, Nikola Jokic turned his back on Draymond when he had the ball on the three-point line. Draymond drives for a layup because he's not even paying attention to Draymond. You have to make the defense aware of you. In the second half, I saw the defense closing out to Draymond. That's what you have to do. You got to make them think about you. Every role player. Pat Spencer was aggressive in the first half. GP2 was aggressive all night long. You got to keep that pressure on them because now they take away all that pressure from Kristaps Porzingis. Second half was all Kristaps. I thought the role players they stopped. They were turning the ball over. The Denver Nuggets became the aggressors. They were hitting shots from all over the floor, and Nikola Jokic is just special.
Well, the bench, 43-25, Denver advantage tonight, KB. And in that pivotal third quarter, Warriors shoot just 33%. I thought they did a good job of taking care of the basketball. It's a make-or-miss league at times, though, and you saw that in the third quarter.
They did. They only had 15, which, okay, by Warrior standards, okay, but they only gave up 13 points off of that, so they didn't hand the game over. You still had some of those late turnovers that, you just put your head in your hands like, oh, I think Melton had one of those too. And it's like, shoot, guys, okay. But can we go back to the role players for Denver? Because Tim Hardaway Jr., he's coming off the bench. He's already had more than 200 threes this season, so you have to know that he is dangerous, and when you start letting him feel himself alongside Jokic, anytime an opponent gets to go like this or like pump up their own crowd, that's when you know it's going to start to get out of hand.
Tim Hardaway Jr. shooting 40% from the three-point line. Ooh. Very big key for Denver as they head into the postseason, but it all starts with the Joker, Nikola Jokic. And we see why he's a problem. It was very quiet in the first half, and I thought KP did do a good job on the Joker.
I like how that's how you know you're good. He had 15, 8, and 4 in the first half. And Bonte's like, well, that's a really quiet night. We're getting so used to Nikola Jokic triple-doubles now.
He had 3 consecutive triple-doubles heading into this game. 4 consecutive triple-doubles.
How do you lose by 23 and still walk away thinking, hold on, there might be something real here for the Warriors? Haha, because that's exactly what this Denver game felt like. Golden State lost 116-93, yes. The third quarter was brutal, yes. Nikola Jokic did Nikola Jokic things, yes. But if you actually watched this game, Dub Nation, you saw something deeper than the scoreboard. You saw a Warriors team that came into Denver shorthanded, missing Steph Curry for a 25th straight game, still threw the first punch, built a 13-point lead, went on a 19-2 run, and went into halftime up 53-46 against one of the hottest teams in the West. That part matters. That part is not fake. That part tells you this group still has life. And the biggest reason for that hope? Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah, now we talking, because even in a loss, you could see the vision. That's the phrase from the local post game that jumps off the page. You can see the vision with Porzingis in this system. He finished with 23 points, matched Brandon Podzinski for the team lead, and the local crew flat out said he was wonderful all night long. They loved how his three-point shooting pulled Jokic out of the paint, they loved how healthy and mobile he looked, and they loved how his presence let Draymond Green play more like a roaming free safety instead of spending the whole night wrestling with Jokic. Oh, that is a huge development. Because if Porzingis can give Golden State size, spacing, and a legit counter against elite front courts, then suddenly this doesn't look like just a patchwork survival team anymore. It starts to look like a roster with a future shape. Now, let's keep it all the way real. The third quarter was the killer. Denver came out of that locker room like somebody lit a fire under the whole building. Reuters and the AP recap both point to the same turning point. The Nuggets exploded 40-21 in the third, erased the halftime deficit, and never let Golden State recover. Jokic had 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists in that quarter alone. And once Denver's role players started knocking down shots, the whole thing snowballed. That's the hard truth. The Warriors supporting cast outside of Porzingis and Podziemski couldn't sustain the pressure. The local postgame crew even said it flatly. The second half was basically all Porzingis, while the other role players slowed down, turned the ball over, and let Denver become the aggressor. But here's why I'm still favorable to the Warriors after this loss. Because this game showed two things at once. One, Denver is more complete right now. The local analyst said that directly, and the box score backs it up. The Nuggets bench outscored Golden State's 43-25, and Denver won its 6th straight. 2, Golden State is still building something useful in the middle of all this pain. Podziemski had another strong game with 23. Draymond scored 13 and was aggressive early. Gary Payton II brought real juice, and most importantly, Porzingis looked like a piece that can absolutely matter when Steph gets back. That's the dream right there, because the same local broadcast also said the quiet part out loud. We all know what this could look like with Stephen Curry. And that brings us to the biggest silver lining of all, Steph's rehab. The San Francisco Chronicle reported Sunday that Steve Kerr got a text from Rick Celebrini saying Curry had a good rehab session for his runner's knee, and Reuters reported that his next major step is a live 5-on-5 scrimmage with reevaluation coming this week. So no, this was not a feel-good moral victory. The Warriors got smacked in the second half, but what they also did was show enough in the first half and enough through Porzingis that you can imagine a different version of this team once number 30 is back. That's why I'm not panicking. This loss hurt, but it also gave us a preview. Tell me what you think. Did this game make you more frustrated by the collapse or more excited by what Porzingis could become next to Steph? Drop your take in the comments, hit like, subscribe, and stay locked in with Dub Nation.